Christina is 16 years old and is from the city of Akhtubinsk. The girl is studying at a culinary college to become a pastry chef. Zarina, her older sister, goes to college with her. Their mother, stepfather, and younger brother live in Znamensk, so the sisters only come home on weekends. The mother is now pregnant. Christina is afraid to tell her parents that she has a boyfriend. She met Alexei when she and her sister went to a disco. While they were driving, Zarina laughed loudly, trying to get the guy's attention. But Alexei only looked at Christina. They exchanged phone numbers and after a while they met. Christina was shocked because Alexei is the first guy who ever paid attention to her. Alexei is an enviable groom. At the age of 21, he became a senior cook in a bakery. Soon Alexei asked her to live together, but Christina had no idea that her boyfriend lived in the countryside. Christina is a city girl, so she was horrified by what she saw. One day Alexei introduces Christina to his mother Elena via video link. Christina never dared to tell her parents that she was living with the boyfriend. From now on, Christina had to do all the housework and take care of the animals. She does not want to live in the countryside, but she is willing to endure it for the sake of her beloved. One day Christina felt nauseous and took 16 pregnancy tests. All of them were positive. Christina hurried to tell Alexei the news. He was frightened, but said he was ready to take responsibility. However, he has not yet asked Christina to marry him. Christina shared the news with her sister. Elena was the next to find out about the pregnancy. She took it normally, because she herself gave birth to the son when she was 16. Christina has not yet decided to tell her mother about the pregnancy. Every day she feels worse, so she had to take an academic leave from college. Christina went to the ultrasound at the women's clinic, and Zarina went to support her. Hearing her baby's heartbeat, Christina knew that she would save her child at any cost. Zarina believes that she should tell their mother the truth, but Christina cannot dare to do so. She fears that the mother will not allow her to keep the pregnancy. Elena also insists that everything must be told. Christina was left with no choice but to call her mother. She reacted very aggressively and told the daughter that she didn't want to know her anymore. However, this did not make Christina give up the baby. Alexei and Zarina supported her in this decision. From early in the morning, Christina is forced to work in the vegetable garden under the scorching sun. One day she got a bad stomachache. The doctor recommended avoiding physical exertion and stress. However, this did not make Elena change her attitude. Zarina believes that this is not normal. In her opinion, Christina should not be plowing through someone else's household. Suddenly Christina got a call from the mother telling her that she had given birth. This made her soften toward the daughter. Christina was happy that the birth of her brother had reconciled her and the mother. It was the 18th week of her pregnancy. Christina went for an ultrasound scan. The baby is fine, but Christina has gained a lot of extra weight. She is worried that this will make Alexei fall out of love with her and leave. One day Alexei's grandfather invited Christina to visit, and Zarina tagged along. The grandfather decided to give his grandson and his fiancée his city apartment and to move into the village house himself. Christina fears that her sister will ask to live with them. A few days later, Christina and Alexei moved to the city. The girl is happy because life in the countryside is very hard. But she wasn't happy for long. Alexei turned out to be a real sloppy. While they lived in the village, Christina did not notice this. Because of this, the couple often had conflicts. Zarina comes to visit them almost every day. She openly flirts with Alexei, and it really bothers Christina. At another ultrasound, the couple found out that they were having a boy. They are looking forward to having the baby and have prepared everything in advance. Baby clothes are expensive, so Christina saves money on herself. Because of her weight, she does not fit into her old dresses. One day Christina received a call from her sister, who reported that she had been kicked out of the dormitory because of a conflict with the commandant. Zarina asked permission to stay with them. Christina doesn't want it, but she can't refuse her sister. From that day on, the three of them began to live together. Christina feared that Alexei would start looking at Zarina. As it turned out later, in many ways she was right. Zarina flirted with Alexei despite her sister's pregnancy. On a sunny afternoon, the company went to the beach. Suddenly Alexei asked Christina to marry him. She happily agreed. Alexei had prepared a surprise for her in advance and gathered all their friends on the beach. Christina was the first to tell her mother about her upcoming wedding. Christina did not want to see her mother-in-law at the wedding, but she cannot do otherwise. The next weeks flew by in preparation for the wedding. The newlyweds had no money for a restaurant, so they decided they would celebrate at home with their closest people. Christina and Zarina put together a menu. Today Christina's mother finally came to meet her future son-in-law in person. The acquaintance went well. Christina is unhappy that Alexei's mother invited a whole crowd of guests to the wedding. Christina has only her sister and her friend among the invited guests, except for her mother. Soon Christina and Zarina went to a bridal salon to choose a dress. There were many chic options, but they were all designed for slimmer girls. At this time Alexei and his relative Sergei were also choosing a suit. Christina still could not find a dress in her size. None of the options suited her, and Zarina teased the sister about it. It really hurt Christina. But finally she found what she was looking for. The dress fit her perfectly. Alexei picked out a suit too, and called the bride to ask how things were going. The wedding is one day away, and no dishes are yet ready. Christina was counting on her sister for help, but she was only having fun. Christina had been at the stove for hours with a huge belly and was very tired. Alexei met his mother at the train station. Christina was not happy about her mother-in-law's arrival, but she didn't show it. Besides, she could use the help. Soon they were joined by Zarina, who was already drunk. In the evening Zarina began to flirt openly with Alexei. He responded to her flirting, and Christina was shocked. The next day she was not in a festive mood at all. She cried all night. Zarina came in without knocking. She assured that she treated Alexei as a relative, and there was nothing between them. The sisters made up and went to their godmother's house. Zarina's friend was already waiting for them there. Zarina gave her terrible makeup, and Christina had to redo it herself. Soon the mother called and said she couldn't make it to the wedding. Christina got upset and cried because she wanted the mother to be there on the most important day of her life. The guests began to gather, and Elena was one of the first to arrive. Finally, the car with the groom drove up, and the wedding ransom began. Zarina and her assistants prepared various tests and contests for Alexei. When Alexei saw the bride in her wedding dress, he could not take his eyes off her. He had never seen her so beautiful. As they drove up to the registry office, Christina realized that she had forgotten her passport. Zarina thought it was bad omen, but luckily Alexei managed to go and get the documents. Finally, Alexei and Christina became husband and wife. The newlyweds and guests went for a ride around town and took pictures. Everyone was in a very festive mood. Elena met them at home. The party began. The only thing that overshadowed the fun was the absence of Christina's mother. It was very hot in the apartment, so the husband and wife immediately changed into their home clothes. The guests got drunk, and Zarina kept up with them. When everyone left, Christina and Alexei went straight to bed. Zarina still lives with them. Christina believes that the sister is the main reason for the conflicts between her and Alexei. Because of her excess weight, Christina developed severe edema and was rushed to the hospital. The doctors decided to perform a cesarean section. The operation was a success. The boy was named Alexei, after his father. When Christina woke up after the surgery, she held the son in her arms. She was thrilled with her baby. After the surgery, it was painful for Christina to walk. Her husband and sister constantly visited her. Christina and her son were discharged from the hospital a week later. 2 weeks have passed. Zarina still lives with them. The first days after the birth were the most difficult. Christina had a hard time coping with household chores, and Alexei was at work all the time. Zarina wasn't much help, so Christina wasn't counting on her. The baby cries both day and night. Christina does not get enough sleep and becomes more and more irritable every day. She takes all of her aggression out on her husband. The next day Christina went to the outpatient clinic to do paperwork. Alexei had to take the day off work and stay with his son. Christina stood in line for several hours. Alexei was helped by Zarina. He complained to her that he and Christina often argued. The fact that the sister lived with them made the situation worse. The atmosphere in the house became more and more tense. In order to save her marriage, Christina went to a psychologist. Her greatest fear is that Zarina will steal her husband away from her. After an appointment with the psychologist, Christina felt better. They were visited by her mom, who assured that it would be easier to care for the child from now on. The mother also talked to her older daughter and told her to live separately from Alexei and Christina. Soon Zarina packed her things. Christina was glad that her sister had finally left. From that day on, the husband and wife quarreled less. Christina has also decided to reconcile with Zarina because no matter what, they are one family. Christina is optimistic about the future and believes that everything will be fine.